There's a reason you found this message today. It wasn't by chance. Something in your spirit was drawn here, because there's a truth you're meant to hear, and a confirmation your heart has long been waiting for. This moment is not random. It's divine alignment. You've always felt a little different, haven't you? Like you see things others ignore. Like your soul catches whispers in the silence, signals in the stillness. That sensitivity, that quiet knowing, it's not weakness. It's a spiritual signature. You carry something rare. And whether the world has recognized it or not, nature has. Creation knows who you are. Animals, skies, winds, even the smallest creature, they respond to the mark you carry. You were never made to blend in. You were made to stand out in ways only the Spirit could author. And here's the truth. When you are chosen, even the earth recognizes you before people do. This isn't just a video. This is a key unlocking clarity you didn't know you needed. We're about to explore signs, sacred encounters that you may have dismissed, but were actually heaven's way of reaching out. What you felt your whole life wasn't your imagination. It was confirmation. So don't scroll away. Lean in, because today you'll finally understand why the wind moved when you prayed, why that bird lingered longer than expected, why that animal looked at you like it knew something, because it did. And before we go deeper, I invite you to join this space. Hit that subscribe button, not just to follow, but to belong. Here, we don't question the calling, we awaken it. We speak to the ones who feel unseen by man, but handpicked by God. Get ready. What you're about to hear will not only confirm what your soul suspected, it will awaken a part of you that's been waiting for this moment all along. Let's begin. If you feel the abundance of divine love filling your heart, now is the perfect time to share it. By clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $100 or more, you can help spread God's blessings far and wide. Your offering will not only touch your own life, but also reach countless souls through this platform. Each of you holds a sacred place in God's magnificent plan, and your generosity will be the answer to many prayers. Take action now. Share your blessings to honor His kingdom, for you were created to accomplish even greater works through His loving hands. May God's grace be with you. Some of you walk through life attracting nature's whispers without fully realizing it. Tiny messengers come close, not by accident, but by alignment. And there are moments when the smallest presence brings the loudest message. When a creature so delicate, so fleeting, hovers in your direction and pauses near you, pay attention. You weren't randomly chosen by the moment. The moment was sent to confirm you. There are signs in creation that speak directly to those who carry divine weight. And when a nearly invisible winged traveler hovers near, what looks simple may actually be sacred. You've gone through seasons when no one saw your growth, years where your heart expanded in silence, where your transformation happened away from crowds and applause. That silent formation wasn't for nothing. It was sacred preparation. Now, something begins to shift. What once lived beneath the surface is ready to emerge. When life sends quiet confirmations, an insect that doesn't flee but lingers, drawn to your energy. It's not a coincidence. It's creation, responding to spiritual frequency. That gentle arrival is a divine echo reminding you. Your hiding season is coming to a close. It's time to shed the weight of what you no longer need. Old pain, guilt, and regret have no place in the altitude you're rising toward. Those brief encounters with nature, especially when they happen during reflection or change, carry encoded instruction. They tell you that you are stepping into your lighter self, one that doesn't carry wounds as baggage, but as wisdom, one that knows when to fly forward instead of waiting for permission. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. And for those moments when you've stood still under an open sky and witnessed a solitary bird, vast and steady, cutting through the air above you, know this: heaven speaks in movement too. Not every word is spoken. Some are flown. When a lone flyer appears in your path, that's not just an animal, that's an announcement. There's a reason you're drawn to wide skies and quiet altitude. There's a reason you've never felt fully grounded by ordinary things. You've been built to see far, to rise higher, to ride winds that others fear. It's not because you're better, it's because your assignment demands more. The power of flight isn't about escape, it's about elevation. Those who are called to soar must learn to see storms differently. You weren't built to be battered by resistance, but to rise on it. That pressure you've been feeling, that's the invitation to ascend. When a powerful flyer glides nearby, especially in moments of prayer or deep thought, understand, the spirit world is bearing witness. You've been seen, you've been strengthened, and now you're being summoned. You won't always walk with the crowd. Sometimes you'll be called to rise where others can't follow. And that's not rejection, that's refinement. The stillness, the space, the solitude, they aren't punishment. They're preparation for vision, for impact, for legacy. So if the skies have sent signs, if nature has drawn close without fear, if wings, tiny or vast, have lingered near you, take it as confirmation. Your transformation has been noticed, and your elevation has begun. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. Sometimes God doesn't announce a shift with thunder or lightning. He plants it like a seed, quiet, hidden, buried beneath the soil of your routine life. And just like that seed, it takes breaking before blooming. That's where some of you are right now. You're not broken, you're breaking open. And I know it hasn't been easy. The job changed, the door closed, the friendship ended, the chapter turned before you had a chance to catch your breath. But listen to me, none of that was by accident. What looked like loss was God making room. What felt like delay was God rewriting the direction. What the enemy tried to frame as failure was heaven's setup for your next assignment. There are some people who've lived entire decades stuck in the same cycle, but not you. No, something in you shifted, quietly, deeply. You've been shedding what no longer fits. You've been saying yes to the unknown. And while the world may not have applauded your surrender, heaven noticed. That's why, when you're standing in the middle of nowhere, asking God if He's still listening, something simple shows up. Maybe it's a butterfly that lands just close enough to catch your eye. Maybe it's a bird that stops and stares. Maybe it's the breeze that moves only when your spirit stirs. Whatever it is, it's not just nature, it's a nudge, a divine reminder. You've been seen. You've been marked. You've been moved into position. You're not who you were a year ago or 5 years ago. And though it may have happened without ceremony, the change is real. You've crossed through places no one clapped for, but God counted every step. That subtle presence you felt, that was heaven's way of saying, "Well done, my child. Keep walking, I'm still with you." So don't mistake the quiet for absence. Don't confuse the stillness for stagnation. You're in transition. The cocoon may have felt like confinement, but the wings are forming. You're not behind, you're right on schedule. Your transformation is not only valid, It's holy. And the best part? You're just getting started. That traveler, with its fiery design and quiet grace, is a living symbol of endurance through the invisible. You too have faced long roads. Not everyone could have carried what you have in silence. Not everyone would have stayed soft after all that loss. But you did. And now, creation speaks. What visits you in moments of stillness isn't decoration, it's declaration. You've walked through seasons of unseen work, the kind of growth that takes place deep within, where no eyes can watch, but where heaven is always present. You've felt your past try to cling to your wings, but something greater inside you kept moving, kept believing, kept becoming. That quiet presence circling you is more than a creature. It's a sacred appointment. It's the reminder that your shedding season has ended and a new form has begun to rise. Not by effort, not by striving, but by divine timing. Where you once crawled, now you glide. Where you once waited, now you move. The sign has come to tell you, liftoff has already started. And if that symbol appears when your heart feels heavy or unsure, let it be a soft touch from the divine, whispering, "You're not alone. I see the newness in you. I recognize the becoming." Let that quiet beauty remind you, you are no longer who you were. The journey behind you was real. So was the pain. But now you've been reformed, and the marks of your transition are not flaws, they are proof. Now is the time to release the last pieces of what no longer fits. Regret, fear, guilt. They have no place in this next level. You've earned lightness. You've earned lift. Don't stay grounded by memory when destiny is calling. Dear brothers and sisters, may the peace of God fill your hearts today. I come to remind you of a profound truth. Our lives are firmly established in God's divine purpose, untouched by the fleeting worries of this world. As Scripture tells us, give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. Luke 6:38. Like the mighty oak whose roots are planted deep in rich soil, our foundation is anchored in God's eternal truth. Every move we make, every stand we take, is upheld by His enduring strength. Today, you have the opportunity to participate in this divine blessing. By clicking the Super Thank You button and offering a gift of $50, you will sow into a harvest that will return to you many times over in God's abundant grace. What once tried to define you has been repurposed as fuel. What broke you open also cleared the way. What looked like an ending was actually the beginning of flight. This is your moment to rise. Not fast, not loud, but surely as the visitor who lands without hesitation. It's your cue to say yes to the wind of change. The one you've been sensing is real. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly on time. You don't need to chase the transformation anymore. It's already happened. Now, you just need to trust it. Because when the sacred shows up wrapped in color and silence, circling your space and then drifting upward, it isn't saying goodbye. It's saying, welcome to your wings. This is your moment. Hit subscribe now and step into something greater. Don't miss out. Elbow deep in the messiness of life. There are moments when everything pauses, not because the world goes quiet, but because something sacred slips through. You've carried burdens no one could see, fought through nights no one knew about, and stood still when others would have collapsed. And just when the noise inside gets too loud to bear, a subtle messenger crosses your path. A creature so simple, yet so deliberate, it silences every doubt. A quiet white bird, gliding on unseen currents, not rushing, not chasing, just arriving. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. It's not a coincidence. That lone bird was never just scenery. Its timing was divine, its flight intentional. And in its still presence, something in your spirit nodded before your mind could catch up. Because deep down, you knew. It was not just passing through, it was carrying something, a reminder, a whisper from the unseen that the silence hasn't swallowed your prayers and the waiting hasn't been in vain. This type of presence doesn't come to everyone. It's drawn to those who've been walking through invisible valleys with a faith that never made a sound. It's sent to the ones who've chosen trust over fear when no answers came. It's for the ones who still hold on to peace, even when everything screams otherwise. The bird's quiet path mirrors yours. Not flashy, not surrounded by a crowd, but steady, purposeful, and known by heaven. You are not alone. You never were. And this moment, this is your confirmation. There are seasons when night feels longer than it should, when your breath slows, the world grows quiet, and your thoughts feel louder than truth. In these moments of spiritual stretching, when the soul feels like it's floating between clarity and confusion, something ancient watches, not with judgment, not with panic, but with unwavering presence. A figure still and alert emerges, not to startle, but to speak without words. A sentinel of silence, chosen to appear only when the noise of the world has faded enough for your spirit to listen. This encounter doesn't happen for everyone. It is reserved for those who've been walking through inner valleys, where light is rare, but refinement is deep. When this creature appears, poised and observant, it is not just passing through, it has been assigned. In its gaze is a quiet echo of God's assurance. You are not alone. I see you. I am still working. Its essence is more than wisdom. It holds the ability to perceive what others miss entirely. It moves with intention, its timing precise. When it crosses your path, it's because your spirit has already entered a new realm, one where dependence on external signs is fading and divine trust is awakening. This kind of journey is not explained with logic. It is endured in silence. It is built in the places no one claps for. For those walking this path, the night becomes more than just a stretch of time. It becomes a place of refinement. The world cannot decode your trials. The questions you carry aren't easily spoken. The ache is sacred. That's when this quiet watcher shows up, not to remove your pain, but to validate your process. It is a reminder that heaven doesn't measure your growth by the noise you make, but by the depth you allow. This messenger does not flap in chaos. It does not chirp for attention. It simply stays, present, grounded. It watches with the kind of clarity that only comes from the other side of the veil. And this is what divine presence looks like in the hard hours. It doesn't crash in. It simply arrives and remains. If you've seen one when the world was quiet and your heart was loud, understand, that moment wasn't random. It wasn't folklore. It wasn't a superstition for poets or dreamers. It was sacred surveillance. That gaze wasn't curious. It was connected. It was heaven saying, I've assigned you to this season, but I will not let you walk it blind. You are evolving. Your eyes are opening to see what cannot be taught, only experienced. Even in uncertainty, you walk with a strength that isn't yours alone. The silent one that appeared in the dark didn't come to warn. It came to affirm. Your path is seen. Your soul is protected. And even in stillness, you are never without divine attention. Keep walking. Your midnight is not empty. It's watched over by eyes that do not close. Of all the moments your spirit has carried weight alone, something within you never dimmed. It simply waited for the right hour to rise again. And then, without warning, beauty visits. It doesn't come loudly. It doesn't come to impress. It comes small, swift, and alive with something sacred. A green-blue flash flutters into view. Not just a bird, not just color, but a moment tailored for you. A divine appointment, written in movement and light. This encounter, as gentle as it may seem, holds layers of meaning. It's not about wings or flight, it's about timing. You've been pushing through heaviness, surviving long stretches where your joy seemed distant. But now, this moment is God's way of whispering, I see you. I haven't forgotten your light. Because what draws this radiant being near is not luck. It's alignment. The rhythm of your inner world has begun to hum with the tones of healing. And all of creation responds. Its movements, quick, deliberate, dancing in every direction, mirror what's happening within you. A spirit that has learned how to move between sorrow and peace, between pressure and grace. You've become someone who finds sweetness, even in seasons others call bitter. That's not survival, that's sacred instinct. What others overlook, you gather. And that is the mark of one set apart. Its colors are no accident either. Green not just for growth, but for resurrection. Proof that what seemed over was actually preparing to bloom again. Blue, the shade of calm skies after storms. Together, they say one thing clearly. You're entering a new chapter, and peace will write the first line. You don't attract harmony like this by pretending. You attract it because you've suffered without turning bitter. You've been honest with your questions without giving up on hope. And that kind of soul doesn't go unnoticed. Not in the spiritual realm. That's why you were visited. Not because you were lucky, but because you've become light. So if that delicate creature hovered near you recently, don't brush it off as chance. Receive it. It's a reminder that joy is still accessible. That lightness belongs to you, not because you've avoided the storm, but because you walked through it with grace. You don't need to force your way into your next season. It's already arrived. What landed near you was more than a bird. It was a confirmation that your softness has power, that your quiet endurance has been seen, and that your healing is not coming. It's already begun. There are moments when the soul is reaching quietly for clarity, even when no words are spoken. You might be sitting still, maybe just catching your breath from a long week, or letting the silence settle in, and then something stirs nearby. A quiet creature steps into your space, not asking, not begging, not performing. A solitary cat arrives, composed and certain, as if it has known you all along. This isn't coincidence, it's a mirror held up by creation itself. Felines are not won by flattery, nor do they chase approval. They approach only when the atmosphere speaks something deeper than language. And when one draws near you, unbothered and without motive, it's because it has felt what others have missed. Your energy, your truth, your light. In spiritual symbolism, such a creature is less about affection and more about awareness. It doesn't seek out just any resting place. It rests where peace lives. It walks toward where purpose resides. And when it sits with you, without asking for anything at all, it's because you've radiated something timeless, an internal strength, a holy calm. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. With a donation of $100 or more, you can actively participate in His divine mission and contribute to His greater plan. Every offering you make reflects the boundless generosity of God, and I trust it will return to you abundantly, far exceeding your hopes. Always remember, His protection and blessing accompany your every step and every act of giving. You are a vital part of His sacred design. You are strong and radiant, steadfast like His mighty rock. Experience God's miracles, feel the rewards of your generosity deep within your soul, and shine your light with boldness and faith. May you be richly blessed, and may the light of the Lord continually guide your journey. There's a kind of sacred recognition in this stillness. You haven't asked to be noticed, but you've been seen. The universe, through its quiet messengers, sends reminders not through noise, but through presence. And when the world around you feels too fast or too loud, this moment becomes a whisper from above. You are known. You are not walking unseen. When this gentle visitor simply lingers, not expecting, just being, understand it for what it is. A nudge from heaven. A signal that your spirit has reached a frequency where even the unseen is drawn to rest beside you. You didn't summon it, but its arrival confirms what your soul already knows. The sacred follows those who carry peace within. Now think of another moment, maybe a street corner, a quiet path, or just a walk you didn't plan. And suddenly, a dog you've never met begins to walk beside you. No leash, no bark, no demand, just silent steps beside yours. The world may call it random, but spiritually, it's orchestration. This isn't about being followed, it's about being accompanied. Some beings are drawn to truth without needing it explained. Dogs, especially, are drawn to essence, honesty, safety, presence. When one chooses to walk your pace without prompting, it's a sacred echo that what you carry is worth guarding. This is divine loyalty in motion. Not loud, not flashy, just faithful. Just like you've been. You've walked with trust, even when the path was unclear. You've given love without demanding credit, and heaven sees it. The quiet guardian beside you. That's heaven's way of saying, keep going. You are not alone. The dog doesn't need a command to accompany you. It just knows. It senses your weight. It chooses to stay with you through instinct, just as the spirit chooses to remain with those marked by calling. So when it walks near, recognize it not as chance, but as confirmation. You are surrounded by watchfulness, even when the crowd is absent. Even when your journey feels hidden from view, even when the night is long, something watches, something walks with you. And even when it comes in a form as simple as a creature with 4 legs and a quiet pace, don't doubt its message. You are being upheld in more ways than you can see. Your spirit is known by heaven, and heaven never leaves its own unguarded. Some moments in life carry no announcement, no dramatic entrance, just a quiet unfolding that leaves an imprint on your spirit. Perhaps you were walking through open land or standing still in thought when it happened. From the distance, a powerful creature approached, not with noise or force, but with calm recognition. No reins, no fences, no commands. It came as though it had always known where to find you. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. This wasn't just an animal wandering. It was a messenger, cloaked in stillness. What moved toward you carried the essence of purpose. Its presence held a mirror up to the parts of you you've kept quiet. The strength, the endurance, the forward momentum that refused to die no matter how long you waited. That encounter was a moment carved in the language of creation. It meant something. To the awakened, this is more than a chance encounter. It's a signal that something within you is being stirred back to life. A reminder that your spirit wasn't designed for confinement, but for movement, for bold strides into unknown terrain. The grace and confidence in its approach reflected your readiness to let go of hesitation and to walk in what's been growing beneath the surface all along. These creatures are not drawn to noise or chaos. They respond to clarity, to a vibration of truth. When one chooses to step close without fear, it's because it sees what others miss: your settled fire, your rooted strength. It's not asking for anything. It's confirming everything. And maybe, up until now, you've questioned your pace. You've wondered if the silence around your life meant delay, or if the slow unfolding meant something was off track. But that gaze, that calm, unwavering gaze, was heaven reminding you that preparation happens in the quiet. That just because you haven't sprinted doesn't mean you haven't been moving. If a horse came near you in stillness and stayed, don't brush it off. It was not a moment to overlook. It was an invitation to remember your freedom, to stop shrinking, to release what's behind, and finally trust that the ground ahead will meet your steps. The signs have already spoken. You don't need more proof. What you're sensing is real. What's been whispering to your spirit is not imagination, it's instruction. Don't wait for permission to become what you already are. You are not late. You are not lost. You are being led.